So so the bet is that you can't ride a bike from LA to Vegas. Do you have a starting point?
Oh yeah. So basically it was, so he was going to bet this guy, and he like looked into it, and he was like, nah, that's like not possible. And I was hanging out, and I was just like, fuck, I was like doing some research on it. And I like looked it up, and I like Googled like, how to prepare for a 300-mile bike ride in a month. And like nothing came up. It came up like how to prepare for a 100-mile in like 3 months, right? So I'm just like, that's not a good sign. But I just like, I don't know, something about me just thought it was possible. So I was like talking to Bill. I was like trying to get more time, and I talked to like some buddies that were cyclists. Like, look, they're like, if you had time to like train for this, like you could do it. Like, but there's fucking no way, like just off the couch you could do it. And I'm like, how long, do I need? And they're like, minimum 3 months. So I'm talking to Bill, and I kind of like want the bet, but I'm just like, I don't know how much money I really want to risk. And so he ended up saying that he would give me, because the initial bet was like, you just had to go do it tomorrow, right? And I was like, there's no fucking way, like, and then he's like, he goes, well, I'll give you a month. And I go, give me, it was like until X date, and it was like a little under 6 weeks. I was like, and I'll do it. And he's like, how much do you want to bet? I was like, $600 grand. Because I wanted to bet enough to where like I would do it, but I didn't want to bet too much to where like I'd not only like fucking break my ass, but like, just lose a shitload. So it's like 600 seemed like it was a good number. So we made the bet, and I started doing some research. So I go down to the bike shop, and I'm like, oh, like I need a bike. Like I'm doing a triple century ride. And the guy's like, oh, like, how much biking? And I was like, oh, like I haven't been on a bike, like ever really. I did some mountain biking like 19 years. And the guy just like, that response. He just like laughed at me. I'm like, no, like really, like I got to do it. I got like 5 weeks. And he's just like, he just like looked at me like I was a complete fucking retard. And I'm like, no, like I've got to bet, like I'm gonna do it. And then the guy's like, okay, like what kind of bike do you want? I'm like, I don't know, like you're the bike shop, like tell me. Like I had no fucking idea, right? So he gives me like this race bike, which is like super fucking uncomfortable. So I go out and I ride this thing, and I rode it like, I don't know, for like 45 minutes, and my ass was just like fucking in so much pain. And I'm like, I am fucked. Like, I think I made it like 11 miles, and I was just like, this is going to be really brutal. And so I ended up finding like a bike where like you could sit down a little bit more, as like a recumbent or whatever. It looked like a low rider bicycle, right? Okay, so that'll like kind of alleviate a little bit of like the ass issue, and it gave me like a slightly different like pedaling position. So I got that, and then I felt a little bit better about the bet. And then I had like ridden a little bit, but like nothing over like 20 or 30 miles. And that was like, kind of like going hard. And then I talked to you, and I talked to Lance, and Lance was like, oh, if you use a fucking any other bike other than a road bike, like I'm not fucking, I can't have anything to do with this. And I'm like, look,
why?
I don't know, because it's like a fucking, I don't know.
It's a purist?
Yeah, he's a bike, or I don't fucking know. So I'm just like, well, listen, buddy, I'm betting big money on this. I'm like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I got to do to fucking make it there on a bicycle, right? And so, anyways, then I bet Rick Solomon. Rick thought I was going to die, because like the route that I chose was like on the freeway, and I didn't have a police escort at the time. So he's like, this guy's going to be driving on the freeway at night, like there's going to be trucks past him, like he's got a decent chance of dying. So, and he's like in the heart attack thing. And I actually went to the hospital because I was like having some like shoulder pain again, and it felt very similar to the last thing. So I was like, fuck. So Rick is like, he like.
This is while you were training, you were having shoulder pain?
Yeah, like after I had done like a long ride, one of the nights, like I actually went to the hospital. I was like kind of worried. And so Rick was like saying that, and I was like, let's bet that I'll bet you I don't die. And I was like, and I'll give you odds. I was like, because for me, I'm like, well, fuck, I can't take it with me. If I do die, like, fuck it, like, and then it would like up the stakes for me without really like too much risk. And so I was like, I'll bet you whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Like, I'll bet you my plane. And I was like, and I'll give you, I think it was like 10 to 1 or 21. I think it was like, I gave him like, fuck, I think I initially offered him like 20 to 1 odds, and then we settled at like, I don't know. It ended up being where he would lose $250,000, and I would give him like my plane plus my pilots for, he got my plane, and then I'd pay the pilots for a year. We like had all
But
these.
you had to die.
You had to die. But if I didn't complete the race, then it was like a wash. For me, I'm just like, fuck. It's like, because Rick didn't think I could do it, period, right? So he didn't think there was a possibility that I could do it. And then he thought there was a decent chance that I could die. So for him, he thought he was kind of free rolling. And for me, I was free rolling, because it's like, if I die, well, okay, I don't need the fucking plane. It ain't gonna take me to hell, right? So like, I'm good. So I made the bet with him. So. And then I bet a little bit on the side with somebody else. So I basically had $1 million on it when I finally ended up doing it. And I got a police escort like through Vegas. So it's so funny because I had like 11 squad cars like blocking off all the intersections. And here comes this fucking dildo on a bicycle, like riding right through it. I'm like, have all the, like, you're expecting like a presidential motorcade to come, or like, somebody, like everybody's like looking to see like what, there's fucking 11 squad cars blocking off every intersection. And here's just this fucking asshole on a bicycle.
Well, a lot of people knew that you were going to do it, but they didn't know when you were going to do it.
Yeah.
So you didn't announce when
I didn't want to announce it because I didn't want people to fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want fans to like come out and, or people that hated me or anything, right? I just wanted to. This is bad enough as it was. I had to be on the fucking highway. So I ended up leaving from Vegas, and I did it in about 32 hours. Was the
And what was the bet?
It was 48.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I just remember because there was because he was giving me some shit about, because I was allowed to draft, but he was saying that the van that I had the doors open, because you had to leave the doors open because I wanted to talk to my coach, and they were like filming it and stuff, so we had the doors open. So he was like Rick was bitching about that, which was kind of stupid for Rick to bitch about, because that was like what made it the least safe of all, was, drafting off a car, because you got to be like 6 inches from this car, and you can't see like shit in the road.
So if they have to slam on the brakes,
you're fucking fucked. In the car, you're crashing. We had times when there was a there was a time when we were on a fucking 1-lane road, right? And there's 1 lane, and we're in this lane, and there's a lane going this way, and we had a car come to pass us as another car was coming and missed our van by inches, and they were doing 50-60 miles an hour, if they were to crash, I would have been dead for sure. It was fucking bad. And so shit got pretty gnarly some of the spots. I blew out a tire doing 30 something miles an hour downhill. I mean, it was
Did you rest at all while you're doing this?
Yeah, I slept for an hour or two, maybe an hour and a half. And then I stopped to eat, but it was mostly just truck the whole way through.
So you stayed on this recumbent style bike the whole time?
No, I did half of it on that and half on a road bike. And the second half of it, I did no drafting. I just did a road bike with no drafting.
How come no drafting?
He was bitching about it, and I was just like, fuck it, I don't need it.
He was bitching about it while you were riding?
Yeah.
How did he know?
So I'm
was he there?
Oh yeah, he was following me. So I'm having arguments with him, and I was just it was helpful, but it only helped on flat, so it doesn't help at all on the uphill. Right? So no uphill, it helps. And on the downhill, I didn't need it because you're going so fucking fast that you don't really want to be going more than 30, 40 miles an hour on downhills, because if you hit shit in the road, and you crash, you're fucked. You know what I mean? If I crashed, I couldn't finish the thing. So there's that, and there's shit in the road. I mean, I'm on the side of a highway. There's tires and nails, and you know what I mean? So you don't really want to be going and I couldn't go on the highway because I couldn't get the police escort for the actual highway. The CHP wouldn't do the highway portion of it. So which sucked, because that was the most dangerous part. So I was in the breakdown lane instead of actually being in one of the lanes. So there's just shit in the breakdown lanes, there's fucking nails and whatever.
And you're doing it at night.
Yeah, it was pitch black sometimes. We had fucking high winds. I mean, it was gnarly. It got down to 34 degrees at one point, plus with the winds. I mean, I had a ski jacket on. I mean, it was fucking.
Were you thinking to yourself, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of those moments in my life, but I was more thinking I just didn't know if I could do it. I just didn't know, like, physically, because I had just never done any biking. I didn't know if my legs were just gonna, like, not be able to go anymore. I had no, like, real experience in it, so I didn't. That was my real concern. Was just that, like, I just knew mentally, like, I was just never gonna quit. I just didn't want to get injured or, like, just physically not be capable. That was, like, my two concerns.
This is a video of you doing it?
Watch this. Look at this. Look at these two cars. That was one fucking lane. They just passed each other.
Yeah, that was very close.
That was it. Right there.
38 hours.
No, 32.
32 hours.
Yeah.
So 48 hours was the bet, and you did it in 32.
Mm-hmm.
How pissed was he when you won?
He actually treated it like a champ. He didn't really give a shit. That was pretty crazy. He got a lot of money.
He's a baller.
He is, for sure.
What is this? Is this your house?
That's my house, yeah. Just
pulling up
I can
after
pull
it's
up
over?
on the bike, yeah. That's pretty crazy, right?
So
I looked like the Grinch the next day. I was like, green, fuck.
You said the most you won is 51 million? That was the most you've ever
54.
won? 54?
But not in one sitting. That was over a course of 8-9 months.
And that was just you going at it with this one dude?
One day, yeah.
And you guys playing one-on-one when you're doing shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
I remember there was one point where I was sitting there.
That's a granola bar, ladies and gentlemen. Like, what the fuck is that sound?
And I checked my watch.